Oh no, there's less than 3 weeks until you have to have your roster registered with the Champions League. Galatasaray still has lots of transfers they need to make. Are we going to be doomed to repeat the mistakes we made last season against young boys and crash out early? We hope not, and we're going to talk about it today. Welcome back to the Galatasaray Show. I'm Brad. This is Sircon. Today we're going to talk about transfers. There's less than 3 weeks left until you have to have your roster registered with the Champions League. Now, that's not the same deadline for the transfer window in Europe or the one in Turkey, but to me, it's the most important one.
I agree. We still need a right back. We still need a defender and a goalkeeper. But Ederson, I think we're going to be able to transfer him within the next 3 days, 4 days. That's what I've been hearing from the media, social media. So Donnarumma is going to Manchester City, and Manchester City is sending Ederson to Galatasaray. What do you think?
We hope. About 5, 6 o'clock yesterday Eastern time, this all started to heat up. There's actually an article in The Athletic this morning about how Donnarumma went from PSG's darling to possibly being shipped out, 3 months later? So the fact that news is heated up, it makes it seem more like we have a chance at Ederson. But this is the same guy that 2 or 3 weeks ago seemed to have no interest in coming here. I mean, what? So you've played football. I haven't. What's your feeling on how a player feels if they're being transferred somewhere they don't want to go?
I will not feel motivated at all. I mean, that's not only for soccer. That's a valid argument for any work that we do.
Well, I 100% agree. I was transferred in a job from one city I loved to one that I didn't. And I didn't enjoy being there. You know how long I stayed with that company once I got there? 3 months. I left and found another job that would help get me out of there. Because you're right, I wasn't motivated at all to be where I was. And that's my only worry. If Ederson doesn't want to come to Istanbul, if he doesn't want to go from the way a lot of people look at Man City to Galatasaray, even though that's the incorrect way to look at it, I hope that he will be motivated once he arrives and becomes part of the team and drinks that Florio water.
I think he wanted to come to Gala. The problem was his transfer fee. He had good intentions to be here. I mean, that was like 3 weeks ago, and we kind of agreed on the personal terms. We just couldn't pay his fee to the Manchester City team.
All right. Well, so what's got us concerned is let's go back a year ago and let's look at the starting lineup for the Young Boys game that we needed to win to get into the Champions League. Let's take a look.
That
Now,
kind of tells us the whole story. Who was our left back? Who was our right back? Tell me, Brad.
okay, so here we are. You see it here. Derek Kuhn started on the left. Nelson was still on the back line. Yellert was our right back. That's the defense that we started.
Now let's just roll back. Let's just go back to 2023. Who was our left back and who was our right back when we played with Copenhagen?
Oh, hey, well, hang on. We got more. So this was the 3-2 Young Boys defeat, who he did. Now let's go to the 1-0 game in Istanbul that we all thought that we would do great and it was going to be wonderful. Couldn't even score a goal. In that game, you had Batsuai and Icardi starting up front. You had Barish playing right back. Derek Cohn again on the left, Con Ihan in the middle with Nelson, and then Ziyech was on the wing. It's almost laughable today to look at
I
that
mean,
lineup. We started in a must-win game at home.
none of those players can play in the first 11 today.
No,
None of them. Maybe
no.
Khan Ihan, if Torreira is missing, if he's suspended, or if he's injured, maybe Khan Ihan can replace Torreira. But other than that name, I don't think Batshuayi, Nelson, or any of
Yellert.
those players that you said are capable of playing in the first 11.
Okay, so these were the lineups we had against Copenhagen, a Champions League qualifier. And what happens if we won that? We go into the Champions League. All kinds of money, not just money, the prestige of being in the Champions League back to back seasons, right?
We lost over 40 million euros because of that.
Yes. Now, fast forward to a semifinal in the Turkish Cup against Konyaspor. Not a Champions League qualifier, a Turkish Cup game. And let's see what we have. Ismail Jakobs at left, Frankowski on the right. Uh, we have Osimhen at striker. We have Eunice on the wing, Salah on the other wing. We have Lamina now in the midfield. We win that game 5-1.
The only player that doesn't shine is the right back, Frankowski.
That's it.
The rest is our Champions League team.
And we've already shipped him out. so so that's what bothers me as we keep waiting and waiting and waiting to do these transfers. And the biggest thing I think all of us complain about with Galatasaray is we do these transfers late and they get in and they have no time to gel with the team. If you've ever played any sport, you know that timing is so important. It's important between a quarterback and a wide receiver. It's important between a winger and a striker. If you have one of the best wingers in the world, but he can't line up with the striker's pace of play, or vice versa, and we've seen it. If you have one of the best strikers in the world, we had this with Icardi a couple years ago, but nobody can get him the ball, then you're wasting having that striker. And we don't want to waste having Osimhen, Icardi, Sane, all these players because we wait and we transfer the goalkeeper like a week before the game starts. We transfer the right back a week before the first Champions League game. And we've seen it this season, right? We signed Osimhen, but he wasn't ready to play in the first game. He won't start the next game. Let's just say that we were playing Fenerbahce in the first game, right? And you lose that game, and you've got Osimhen on your team, and he doesn't play.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem that we've been having. I mean, not only Galatasaray, but all other teams in the Turkish Super League. They're just waiting and trying to get a good deal. But, I mean, that's not going to happen overnight, right? So we just got to plan ahead of time. We knew that Muslera was going to leave us like a year ago. What are we doing? That's what I'm trying to understand. We've been in the market for almost 11 months, almost 10 months, and we still haven't transferred a goalkeeper. And we know that. I mean, you got to have a good striker, you got to have one good defender, but more importantly, you got to have a good goalkeeper. Because without a good goalkeeper, I don't think we're going to be able to achieve what we want to achieve in the Champions League.
Well, and not just the starting lineup. If we want to have the season we want to have, we have to have a deep and broad team that can withstand Champions League, the league, and the Turkish Cup.
That was the
And
problem that we had. So we did not have any players on rotation, right? The
mm,
players were, I mean, Who played as a left back, right back? When Davinson was suspended, Kaan Ayhan played in his position. When Torreira was suspended, who played in his position? Berkan?
Yeah, Berkan Kutlu. Yeah,
Berkan Kutlu. So when Osimhen is out, who is going to play? Icardi is not ready. You're going to say Barish. Yeah, Barish can replace him, right? But who's going to take Barish's position if Barish plays as a striker?
right. Well, and that's kind of like I know
That's a
Sanye was a
puzzle that we need to complete.
I know Sanye was a free transfer, and I'm not saying I didn't want him, but it's kind of mind blowing to me that they've known we've needed a right back and a keeper since last season. Muslera told the Galatasaray he was leaving months ago. We haven't had a right back since we sold Sacha Boy. And so they knew they needed these two positions. And the player they signed is a winger, which we already had. Eunice is good. Eunice is good. Barsh can play over there. Zaniolo can play over there.
And by the way, Shalai is not a right back. He is a converted right back.
That's
But
correct.
his original position is not a right back. He's a winger.
Well, just like you and other people say, Gunai is not a Champions League goalkeeper, right? He's not a Champions League right back. I don't want a converted right back. Gerchek right back is what I want.
We're gonna do some panic transfers. That's what's waiting for us. I mean, if we wait any longer than this, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna do some panic transfers, and we're gonna bring players like Cuesta, Yellert. So I don't want this to happen at all. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're not paying a lot of money. You're not spending like 40, 50 million on a right back or on a left back, but it all adds up, right? We paid almost 10 for Yellert. We paid 8 plus the bonuses for Cuesta.
Well, it's not just who cares they don't cost much money, right? The problem is we have the bones of a team that can be great with just a few key transfers. You don't have to rebuild the team this year. Tons of starters and chemistry came back, right? This is what you want. We just need to add a few pieces. But we've only got, as of today, 19 days to not just have those pieces in to get registered, but what today is? It's the 13th, right? The Champions League qualifiers, I think, start the 12th and 13th, 14th, something. So they're a month away, 4 weeks away.
Right.
Well, you need to get that player in today, and have them play some league games to have them ready to go up again. We don't know who we're going to draw the first game, and you don't want to drop points. And so you can't. The Turkish window, I think, is open till September 11th. That's going to be like the day before the game. If we do like we've always done, we'll bring the player in that could have won the game for us the day before the game, and then they won't be able to play.
Well,
There's a reason I have no hair. I can't pull it out when I'm saying these things.
like we need at least 4 more players to complete the puzzle. Goalkeeper, right back, defender, and a midfielder.
All right, so we know who we're talking about with keeper Ederson. Let's talk about the defender. What's his name? Is it
Singo.
Singo?
So Singo can play as a defender. I mean, the central defender and a right back. So he plays in those two positions. I think he will be a great addition to the team. So I'm not opposing that guy at all. He will be a great transfer. With that being said, can we justify to pay him 25, 30 millions?
As a
That's my
non-starter.
question. Right. Is he gonna play? I mean, is he gonna sit on the bench? If he's gonna be replacing our right back position, that makes sense. But if he's gonna sit on the bench and wait for Davinson, maybe he gets injured, maybe got suspended, then he plays. I don't think that will be a good investment. So if we spend 25, 30 on a player, we better play him we better find a place in the first 11.
Well, if he can play as the right back, I like the transfer because then he can play as the right back, but he has the versatility, like you said, not just an injury, but a yellow card, a red card, just giving him time off, right? That gives us, that's what you want. You want to have players to win a championship, multiple championships, players that can be moved around, right? Like a Saleh. He can sub in at right back in the league, or he can move into the attack. And so those type of players gives Okan Hoja a lot more versatility with how to structure his lineup at different parts of the year.
And for the right back position, so we want Sasha Boye back to the team, right? I kind of disagree with that transfer. I mean, why do we want to bring him back? We already sold that guy for over 35 million euros. And that guy got injured like at least two times that I know of. And those were like serious injuries. And we want him back. And the guy doesn't want to be here because we couldn't pay him his bonuses. Like, I think 150,000 euros or something like that. We couldn't pay
Mm-hmm.
him. And he was so pissed about it. That's why he doesn't want to come back. Just don't. I mean, if he doesn't want it, then don't bring him back.
Well, there's that old adage, you can't go home again, and it's true. If if you haven't been to your hometown since you were 18 and you go back when you're 30, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to feel the same.
It's not.
And so, to me, it's a lazy one transfer, and it's a lazy rumor. If you say you need a right back, what's the easiest thing to say? Well, Sacha Boy, because I've already said we haven't had one since him, right? If you break up with your girlfriend who was cheating on you, and then you're single for like 9 months, and you're lonely because you can't find a girl to go out with you, who's the easiest one to go back to? The ex girlfriend who cheated on you, right? Is that the right thing to do? No, because she's going to do it again.
So they say X doesn't become next,
That's
something like
right.
that. Yeah,
And so
I agree.
I agree with you. I think it's a lazy transfer. There's probably, if we can get Singo, then we don't need him. And then there's younger, cheaper players out there that we can bring in as the backup.
I don't know if you remember, but back in 2000 or 1999, we had two players from Brazil. Right back was from I think he was from Brazil. His name is Capone,
Mm-hmm.
and
Capone.
Capone. So why can't we find players like Capone? There's nothing to lose on that kind of deal. I'm okay to lose 500,000 euros, 2 million euros. At least you give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, there's no young Turkish players we can bring in. There's no, I don't know. There seems like there's a lot of leagues that are worse off than us that we could probably find some players in that would want to come and go play in the Champions League and win a championship.
I think our scouting department used to be much better like 5 years ago because 5 years ago we brought Baruch, Kerem, Boye, Nelson, and Marco too. So we got all these young talents.
Yeah,
We
Markel's a good player.
right. I think we spent less than 12, 13 million euros for all these players. It sounds like a good investment to me.
Well, I mean that's kind of the thing. I mean, look at the PSG model, right? They got rid of all the super expensive players they have and brought in players that fit the system. Now they still spent money on some of them, right? More than we're going to spend. But again, you really need to transfer to your system and team and not worry about how big the name is if the talent's there. I mean,
I
we're
agree.
still going to be in the business of finding cheaper players, nurturing those players, and then selling those players for money. We have to.
And we definitely need a right back. Making the long story short, we definitely need a right back. Again, it's not Shalai's original position, and I don't think Shalai will be able to handle that kind of pressure, that
No.
kind of environment in the Champions League.
And here's what I'm worried about, right? The Champions League qualifiers are done in 2 weeks, right? And so then you're about a week away from the roster. And then they'll do the draw for the Champions League, right? And they're going to, if we play somebody that's like a Copenhagen, no offense to Copenhagen, but not the PSG or the Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, we can play that game with who we have. We can still wait till our window closes.
Yeah, that was the mentality that we had last year.
Yeah,
Well, we have enough players. So let me ask you another question. How many midfielders do we have in the squad? We have Sara, we have Torrea, we have Lemina, we have Berkan. Maybe Kaan Ayhan is a
Khan.
defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm counting five, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even counting those young players from the U19 team like Efe and Gökdeniz.
We have Yusuf Demir.
Well, I don't think he's a midfielder though. He plays winger. But anyway, so I'm counting five, and three of them are placed in the first 11.
Right.
My question is, what is our plan if something happens to one of those three players? Can Berkan replace one of those players?
Not very well.
How about Kaan Ayhan?
Eh.
Maybe. Maybe, right? So are we thinking about playing those three players throughout the year? They're gonna be playing at least 55, 60 games. I
Oh,
mean,
they'll have to.
I'm trying to understand what our plan is, because if something happens to one of those players, then we're gonna have the same problem that we had last year. We have no players, no rotation players, and Berkan is not a good replacement for any of those three. Maybe
Oh.
Kanahan can play where Torrea is playing at. That's a maybe, and that's it. And they say, well, Icardi is gonna play number 10. We gotta understand that this guy has been on for almost 10 months.
Yeah, I've seen a Cardi play defense too.
I mean, he's almost 33. I
Right.
don't know what we're expecting from this guy.
Well, we don't even know. I mean, he gave a big interview today before practice, and somebody asked him point blank when he's coming back, and he danced around it. Danced. He said, I'm training. I'm looking to get back. I miss it. But he didn't say I'm going to be back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He doesn't know.
Well, time will tell, but I don't think he is coming back anytime soon. I mean, yeah, he can play in the last 20, 15, 10 minutes, but I don't think he'll be ready to play 90 minutes before end of November.
Yeah. And
So
uh, yeah,
if we are counting Icardi as a midfielder, which we shouldn't
we
be.
should not.
I mean,
a,
he's not a
a
midfielder.
normal,
He's a
intelligent person would not do that.
striker. Then we definitely need another midfielder. I was watching Okan's press conference about two weeks ago, maybe 10 days ago, and he was saying something like, "Well, midfielder is not one of our priorities. We're going for a goalkeeper first, then we have other positions to fill, but midfielder, no." I mean, he
That,
did not say no, but he said maybe later.
that's the problem. The problem is when you leave this so late. Of course, the keeper is your priority. We don't have one, and the league has already started. Of course, right back is important. We don't have one. The league has already started. If you would
We
transfer
definitely
that stuff like you're supposed to, if you already had a goalkeeper and a right back, then he could be honest and go, "I would like another midfielder." But he would sound like an idiot saying, "I want a midfielder," when he doesn't have a keeper or a right back.
see.
It's driving me
I mean,
crazy.
maybe it's just me, but I think we got to have at least two good midfielders on the bench. Well, right now we have health. I'm counting Kanahan as health.
Happy.
So it's better to have two and a half because Kanahan can also play as a right back. I hope not, but um,
We'd rather not see that.
the defender, right? So we definitely want to keep him as a rotation player, and sometimes he can play at Torreira's position too. But we definitely need at least one, but ideally two midfielders.
All right, everybody, that's our feelings on this. Tell us in the comments. How comfortable do you feel? Do you think we're going to get the transfers done in time? And if not, which ones do you think are the most important? Of course, I'm a right back, then keeper. I assume Serkan's a keeper, then a right back.
I'm kind of torn between right back and a midfielder.
So again, less than 3 weeks till the Champions League rosters have to be set. Tick, tick, tick.